Sword Art Online. It's called SAO for short. I get it. That's a reference from the Progressive movie. Anyway, I saw the latest movie the other day, the day of release, because, you know, I'm cool like that, or not cool like that. A lot of people don't like this show. I'm going to level with you. Listen, I love SAO as much as the next guy. Actually, that was a lie, because I actually like SAO. So when I heard that they had a new movie coming out, I was like, I kind of gotta see it. So I did, and I liked it a lot. Okay, a lot of people don't like SAO for X amount of reasons, and that's okay. I mean, yeah, 90% of those people haven't watched the show, but hey, I digress. But this movie was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, you know. Do you need to see the first Progressive movie? Maybe. I mean, they do a really good job on like catching you up if you haven't seen the movie, but it always helps to see the first movie before you watch the second movie, no matter how easy it is to watch the second movie. So obviously you clicked on this video to either hear my opinions about it or hear me out, just hear how it is in general. And I'm not gonna lie, I am very biased. So if you're looking for a, I hate this show, this part sucked, and this sucked, then you're not gonna find that here. Maybe. So anyways, what's so crazy about it? Was the hype worth it? There was almost zero hype. I was so mad. I went to go see it in AMC, and my main AMC wasn't showing it, and then my next main AMC wasn't showing it, so I had to drive like an hour away just to see it. I'm not mad about that. But, you know, I will say the pacing was pretty good. I mean, in this movie, if you didn't know, in SAO, the first arc Aincrad is separated between different floors, 1 through 100. And the first Progressive movie, which was by the main girl character, Asuna's perspective, was from just floor 1, right? It was just floor 1 and some of the outside world. This one starts at the end of floor 4 and ends at the end of floor 5. And honestly, it's kind of just like an episode. That's what it felt like to me. Like, I watched it and it kind of just throws you in and it just goes by and cool stuff happens. But overall, it kind of just felt like it was going through the motions, how it should be. I mean, it's just one floor out of 100 that they have to get through. And yeah, obviously it's a movie. Obviously eventful, non-ordinary stuff happen, which are really cool. And I should probably mention that I won't be saying any spoilers. Probably. That's a yes. That's yeah, I'm not. So I didn't really prepare a script for this or plan this out. I kind of was just bored, and then I was like, hey, let me talk about the movie before I forget. So, you know, all the characters from the first Progressive movie are basically in this one. Some play minor roles than they did before, but overall, it's got the two main characters, aka the only characters who matter in the entire show. That's not me throwing shade at the show. That's just my opinion, and if you disagree, that's okay, because hey, we all like the same thing, or we don't like the same thing. I still don't know how to talk about the SAO community. What to say? I mean, listen, I went to see the movie. I might see it again. I don't know. I'm trying to see how like watchable it is for someone who's never watched the show before, someone who hates it. I believe if you hate SAO but used to like it, you will like this movie. Most people talking about Sword Art hate basically the entire show, but they love the first arc, and this is just the first arc of the show. It's a prequel. It's a sequel prequel. That's what I like to call it. Does that sound confusing? Definitely. Do I care? Not in the slightest. How do I even talk about this without spoilers? There was a lot of callbacks, okay? Okay, maybe not a lot of callbacks, but there was a few in which where I have watched the show before, I was like, wait a second, that they mentioned that before. So we've never seen any of this before in the show. There's like one callback to one thing that happened in this movie that was in the show, and I'm not going to say what that is because that would be a spoiler, but they've got plenty of like tie-ins for the Progressive books because they're kind of skipping from floor 1 to the end of floor 4. So they're skipping floor 2, 3, and basically all of 4. So it's kind of like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. Why'd they do that? My guess is just like to make it interesting, maybe? Like, I don't want to say the things that have happened on those floors weren't interesting, but I don't know why they did that. There's not an end credit scene at the end of the movie. I mean, I would watch through the credits because they do a cool little credit thing that kind of shows all of the first movie and all of the second movie, like at the end, and like these little flashback cool things. You'll have to see it. I would watch it if you like it, but you could leave if you want to. You're not going to miss anything crazy. But yeah, the beginning of the movie, you know, it was cool. It's, you know, our characters doing cool, awesome things. Some characters doing a little like, that would be broken. Okay, listen. I have been kind of hyping this movie up throughout this entire video so far, but But there was one thing I want to mention. I think it was like the only thing in the movie that I was kind of like, dude, what? So this is kind of a spoiler, but not a major spoiler. So if you want to like click off or skip or do whatever, you can. It's not really a spoiler, but it kind of is. Okay, it's about one character. It's about the movie exclusive character Mito or whatever. Okay, so she's in this movie and she has her scythe like she has in the first movie, which we already haven't seen that weapon class before, like at all in the show, so it's brand new. This weapon is like broken. Okay, I feel like it breaks the game balance, and if the characters were able to act outside of the restrictions of, you know, literally the movie and the writers, everyone would be using this. Okay, not only is it like stupid OP, like yeah, a lot of it is like skill based, but that doesn't matter in this case. But she's got a new scythe, right? She can open it up and chains come out from like the middle, and she can use them to swing around like Spider-Man, which I thought was kind of crazy. I'm like, she's practically flying, like, and the reach is insane. Like, maybe it takes a lot of skill to master. I don't know how it works. Like, yeah, she's good, you know, and we all know that. But like, I was like watching and I was like, how the heck is that like even a thing? Like, I feel like that could be used to abuse, and she's so much out of SAO with the reach and the pull and everything. That's just like a little, like, it's not even really a complaint. It's more of a just like, wow, that's crazy. But I will say the animation popped off by SAO standards. Okay, it's no Demon Slayer, but I was just sitting there, I was like, dude, this animation rocks. Like, there's a few parts that I was like, dude, the animation didn't have to go that hard in the movie. One of the things I did appreciate is there's not like any fan service in the show. Like, there never really is like bad fan service in the show, but SAO is kind of notorious for making me not want to look at the screen because, I don't know, I'm an innocent crybaby who wants to respect women or something. I don't know. Listen, there was like one scene, but they didn't allude to anything at all, which was great. And they had like a little fight scene in that part. It was like a play fight, but they had like a little fight scene. And I'm like, why is the animation popping off? Yeah, there's a new character, quote unquote, new character in this movie that if you watch the trailer, you know, Argo the Rat. You know, they don't actually say Argo the Rat, but it's Argo the Rat, okay? She's in it. She's an info broker from the progressive novels. And in the current novels today, you know, United Ring and all that stuff, she's made her appearance. That's kind of a spoiler, but yeah, whatever. So they're kind of just, they brought her into it. She doesn't really get a crazy introduction. She was at the end of the first progressive movie, and she makes a little appearance in the SAO movie one time, and that's after our main boy Kirito's all depressed because his entire guild died in front of him, and he goes to fight like Nicholas the Renegade, and you know, she's like, oh, I don't know where this tree is, and he's like, oh, I know, and then he goes, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if I were to give a rating for the movie, that's hard. Like, I went to go see it with my sister, right? Because she also likes SAO. She actually got me started on liking it a long time ago. And we saw it, and she's like, oh my gosh, it was so good. I was like, I agree. And she's like, did you like it more than the first one? And I kind of sat there, I was like, did I? Like, it was good. And I really liked it. But was it better than the first one? I don't know. Like, I feel like the first one, I'm actually having to think hard about this question. I don't know. I think they're pretty even. Like, I haven't seen like I think the first one's reaction was crazy because we were seeing it from Asuna's perspective. And when Kirito showed up, I popped off because that's my thing. You know, Kirito's my guy. Love him. You know, when he does anything cool, I'm like, let's go. And that's probably why I love the show so much, because overpowered characters are my thing. I love watching overpowered characters. So I see Sword Art Online, I'm like, it's perfect. Because everyone's main complaint is, oh man, Kirito's too good at everything and he's really overpowered. I'm like, dude, I don't see a problem with that. So yeah, he has his moments in this movie, but it's more like he doesn't do anything absolutely crazy, you know? But he does stuff, don't get me wrong, but there isn't like a moment in the movie where you're like, oh my gosh, my guy is just, you know, he doesn't like 1v20 anyone, unfortunately. But hey, it's okay. Also, minor spoiler that I realized, because if you don't care about spoilers, I'm going to say this. No one died in the movie, I realized. Like, looking back at it, I'm like, wow. Like, no one died. Like, I'm not saying someone needed to die, Like, it was still good. But I kind of just realized that I'm like, that is crazy, you know? But there were still stakes, and people did almost die, but no one actually did die. But that actually kind of makes sense, because they would need to, like, it would break the continuity if someone died. Because I'm pretty sure there was a few times in SAO where they mentioned, like, oh, we haven't lost that many people in a boss raid since, like, floor 25 or something like that. But yeah, if I were to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 7 or 8 out of 10. Like, that's not bad. I like the movie. It's pretty good. Did I like the other movies more? Maybe. I really liked Ordinal Scale. That was great. I think one of the hardest things for me watching these progressive movies, because they're great. Everyone's a little inexperienced. You know, Kirito isn't like the god he is now. You know, he's still leveling up. He's like level 14 or something in the movie. But I think one of the hardest things to watch in the movie is Kirito and Asuna hanging out and not being together. Okay, I'm gonna say it. That's like I'm watching. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. But like, you know, there's something going on. But like, yeah, I feel like do you guys get it? You know, because you're so used to watching them be like quote unquote married throughout the entire show, and then you watch this and they're like just some teenagers who are like partners but like not together, even though everyone says they're together. But you know, okay, one of the funniest parts I will say in the entire movie is there was a part where Hito and Asuna, they're together. Okay, I'm not gonna give any like direct spoilers, but it's kind of an intimate moment at a scene between Hito and Asuna, and it's a really nice scene. And someone like behind me in the theater just shouted, "It should have been me," which I thought was great. It's towards the end of the movie. I'm pretty sure you'll know it when you see it if you watch the movie, but I just started like dying of laughter. Like, dude, you're ruining the moment. But yeah, great movie. Loved it. I'd watch it again. I probably will end up watching it again. No spoilers. The animation was crazy. The characters were good. I'm pretty sure it fixes like all the problems people have with SAO. It has a coherent, focused story, doesn't diverge too much off the plot. No one's doing anything stupid without reason. Kirito isn't some like white knight who has to save everyone. Everyone has a good role in it. He's not super overpowered, but not underpowered to the point where people who like him being overpowered are upset. I think they do some pretty good justice with the movie exclusive character Mito, so all those fans won't be too upset. She doesn't have as big of a role as she had in the last movie, but they do still follow the same themes of regret, like her regret for leaving Asuna. That's still there. There's some cool quote-unquote payoffs in the movie to some things that happen, and my favorite part in the movie, because I knew it was happening, this is going to be a major spoiler, okay? So if you don't want to hear it, I'd click off now. But we're going to go full nerd. So in the War of the Underworld, that's like season 4 of SAO, Kirito inevitably ends up fighting KOH, you know, Prince of Hell, the lead laughing coffin guy. You know, the guy who gets turned into a tree at the end of War of the Underworld. So he made a comment that always stuck with me that I remembered. And he's basically talking about, oh, you know, fighting with you, Kirito, you know, no one makes me feel this way. Well, they just sound gay now. You know, brings out the killer in him. And he made a comment about the first time he tried to kill Kirito, which was in floor 5 of Aincrad, right? And this movie is based on floor 5. So the entire time I'm like, dude, something is going to happen. So it's like the end of the movie, everything goes well, and you know, Kirito and Asuna, they're just chilling, hanging out, watching the fireworks, and everyone's happy. They're like, oh, let's go down and hang out with people, and they start walking, and like all of a sudden, you know, there's just a dark background, and I'm just like, wait a second. And my sister's kind of like, what? And then all of a sudden, boom, he's there, he pops up, he tries to kill them. It's a whole thing. Like, the fight isn't like crazy, but there's like suspense. I mean, you know they're not gonna die because obviously this is a prequel, but it was kind of like, dude, there was a great payoff in that scene. I'm not gonna go too far into spoilers, but I was like, yes, let's go. I was right. I knew something like that was gonna happen, and it was great. A lot of people are happy in the movie about Argo. You know, they said, you know, she finally got the acknowledgement that she deserves, I guess. Am I a big fan of Argo? She's fine. I'm not the biggest fan of Argo. No particular reason. I don't know why. I mean, she's fine. Honestly, this movie made me like her more. I don't know. Maybe it's just because like I would read the books and I'd be like, she's kind of annoying. But you know, this movie actually, I was sitting there, I was like, okay, she's not that bad. So I apologize for my past discretions. But I will say, if you SAO fans get mad at me for hating Argo, just wait to hear my takes later. Anyways, with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did enjoy, consider subscribing. This is actually technically my second SAO video on the channel. So if you watched all the way through and you want to see me talking about more of it, I don't know, just actually tell me, because I would love to talk about it, because I'm a big nerd when it comes to SAO. Favorite anime, by the way, just saying. Yeah, so final scoring, I'll give the movie an 8 out of 10. I would rewatch it again. I'm probably going to, you know, because it always helps to watch a movie over and over again. Well, at least a few times. And I liked it. Anyways, this is Pigol signing off. See you guys in the next one.